So when did Hasser reach out to you? Because this is the reason I'm asking. Because I'm a big storyline guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big do everything for content kind of guy. Okay. And in my head, I had like I'm like, man, Rambo comes back. That's like the best fucking like reunion ever. You know what I mean? Like here he comes, he coaches, win a championship, fucking best. But you ended up coming back and winning a championship, but with him. How did that happen? When was it?
So the CDL, there's talking behind the scenes. The CDL was going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of the potential owners were spoken to early.
Mm-hmm.
That's about when Hasher reached out to me and was like, "Hey, look, this is going to be something. Would you be interested in coming out?"
Damn.
And it was, I'd say, maybe a little past midway through last year. So at the time, it was just a kind of opening conversation. I started thinking about it, and I was like I still like doing what I did at Sledgehammer, and I still like. From a standpoint, like money wasn't a big issue. Like it was just like I'm able to live. California is awesome. I had a fiance out there. Like I have friends. Like it didn't hit me as like this is an opportunity for something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 2 or 3 months went by. We're about 2 or 3 months before the whole league starts, and then he starts kind of like, hey, look, this is crunch time. Like, are you interested in doing something? So we start talking about potential roles, and then we have like a 4 or 5 month, like literally crazy, like 3 or 4 or 5 month back and forth with lawyers as to what I can and can't do. Because I'm Canadian, so I get another visa.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I was probably 8 months to 12 months away from getting a green card where I was, which would have basically, for those who don't know, green cards allow you to basically just work wherever you want.
Yeah.
Like you're basically a citizen without being a citizen. I can't vote or I can't jury duty or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the basic kind of citizen stuff. But everything else I have access to. But I mean, I'm gonna get married, so eventually I'm sure that'll go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to handle the visa stuff, so like that was a painful process again, like it is every time. It took a few months, and that's why I came on so late. Like we were trying to get me on as soon as the whole thing was announced. So it's like announcing with the players, and like kind of you were saying, like it's a big thing. Like I get back in the scene.
Yeah,
and,
it's fucking
like
amazing.
like blow up like from a content standpoint, and again like get involved with the players, even from like the head coach standpoint.
Yeah,
like the most important part for a head coach is probably like the first 3 or 4 weeks of a game.
Oh yeah,
because that's when like you want all the input and understanding of knowledge that's part of the game to really come and be divulged to the players. So I came in at a point where like most of the basic stuff was figured out. And like even my involvement before we won the event was like, I don't know, a week and a half, and I was moving in the middle of that, trying to move my stuff around. So I didn't really get to do that much, but the stuff that I did, there was like more open conversation for stuff that I saw that they weren't doing. It was never a point where like, oh, Clay, you should be doing this or that. It was like, hey, look, like we did this here. Can we do something else? And that's kind of my way of handling things so far as a coach. Yeah. It might change in the future. It might not. Yeah. I learned a lot from being at Sledgehammer, just from a management standpoint, like being in a real, I'm going to say real work environment because it works a lot different in real,
of course,
in those kind of corporate jobs. But yeah, it kind of changes the person in that time. Yeah. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit I was not fun to play with, and I'm sure the players would tell you that, like Scumpy and those guys. Like I did what I needed to do to get my 2 cents across, and understood on the spot. I was very much almost like a general. Like I would tell you how it is. I would never beat around the bush. Like if I wanted something changed, I would tell you, and then like it or not, this is what's being said, and I'm expecting you to fully kind of adapt to that. Yeah. So like my teams when I competed, and the teams that I was most successful with were people that were able to take that kind of like back and forth. Yeah. Like Merck and Scump and Big T and Jacob. Like those guys were like very much like open to what I had to say, sure would not like it very much, but would never like talk back in the way that's like, like don't tell me to do
like,
this.
Don't call me Damon.
Oh man, yeah, Karma's not the best experience I had seen with, but I love the guy, but as teammates, we didn't match.
One of my favorite people in the world, for sure.
But yeah, no, it was crazy, like just the mindset and change, and I'm like kind of realizing that now, like there's a little voice inside me that wants to be like that guy, but at the same time, I understand that's not the most productive way, and I'm not a player anymore, so I don't have like the weight as much as I used to, and then, especially coming at a later stage, like Clay and Krim have done a lot of work with the young kids,
of course,
and they've done most of it, if anything, like with just understanding and trying to help them learn what they need to learn, like especially Illy and Shotzi, who Illy played competitive COD for a while, S&D stuff, and then Shotzi came from Halo. But just from a standpoint, like there's so many small things at a pro level that you need to be able to do nonstop quickly that need to be instinctive that they don't really understand even just yet. There's certain things that they don't get yet, and they're still in a growing process, but Krim and Clay like accentuated that process. Like, I mean, coming in, I was expecting those kids to be like, I don't know, like half of what they are now. And I'd say they're already like, their experience level is already like one of a player that like a person like me and you would have got in. It would have taken us a year to kind of get to that point. And everything needs to be attributed to Clay and Krim on that for sure. Cause these guys are like nonstop, like they're productive in the way they speak. Not necessarily the best. I would say like there's some elements of what I used to be are kind of in them. But the young kids are like have a really good head on their shoulders, and they're able to understand that they're just trying to help. They're never really like being mad at them for it or not shutting down. Like they just listen, and they you can tell it irritates them a little bit, but they know they're in a position to learn, and that's one of the reasons why we won the last event, in my opinion, because like the progress we're making is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean.